it's also important to consider and look at the common risks and mistakes of SMSF property investing.
So the ones that we have seen quite commonly is where someone opens or starts an SMSF purely to save tax. They're not considering any of their retirement goals. All the primary goal is to save tax. If you're doing that, you are basically opening that SMSF for wrong reasons, and that would be a recipe for disaster. The second mistake that we have seen is buying the wrong property in a wrong area, or overcommitting. So in other words, let's say you're trying to make your investment grow, but you are buying in an area where there's no capital growth, or there's little capital growth in that area, or buying in an area where the yield is very, very low. So which means that when the yield is very low, then there's not enough money coming into the SMSF. And at some point, some people may be forced to actually be pumping money out of their pocket to now fund the loan because the SMSF is not bringing enough money. And then the other common mistake that I often see is where people forget about contingencies in SMSF. So basically using up their balance towards the deposit and forgetting that on a rainy day, that needs to be covered. For example, if they don't have tenants, then who's going to be paying the loan? Or if there's major maintenance or repairs required at that property, or even interest rates going up. So most people overcommitting and making sure and not leaving money for contingency. It's another big mistake that we often see. So it's very, very important to consider that buffer that's put in place to make sure that in case of those things happening, then you've got something to fall back on, not having to force you to pay out of your own pocket.